G'day folks, welcome to the next episode of SLEEZY. Look, it's about high time we take this car for its first proper drive, so I thought why not take it back to its roots. Let's head back to the Angler's Rest where we picked SLEEZY up in the first place, meet Stu for a beer, reminisce on some good times and make some plans for the future. And with any luck, we're going to return these plates to the previous owner as well. Let's go for a drive. Beautiful. Bloody thing's overheated. What's going on here, folks? Bottom of this radiator's nice and cool. Whoa, but she's just boiling over. Oh, there's just no flow. It's almost like we've got no flow at all for the water pump or the radiator itself. Fucking hell, better turn around and go home. Mobile again, folks. Topped it up with water. Can't really see that there's any flow through the radiator, unfortunately. The thermostat has been removed, so we know that that's not an issue there. So I suspect that we've either got a blockage in this radiator or we may have an issue with the water pump. So I think first things first, we may tackle the water pump, but we've got to get this car home, unfortunately. So we're going to have to do the catch up another day, I'm afraid. Thankfully we weren't too far from home there. Got back all safe and sound. I think first things first, let's get this old water pump out. Let's check if there's any issues with the impeller before we look at issues such as the radiator, because there simply wasn't enough flow there. Here we go. Let's have a bit of a look inside, shall we? The impeller itself seems fine, but here's our concern right here. We appear to have a lot of blockages from this motor sitting for a while. So I think we're going to put the other pump in and we're going to have to flush this system entirely. And as we look at this here, where my finger is meant to line up here on the block, and this is completely blocked. And this is our issue with flow. We took a punt, we lost. Unfortunately, standard she'll be right garage. So once we put this replacement pump in and give it a flush, we should be right. We'll look at doing that in the morning. that, we should start to see some flow happening. You can now start to see a water coolant flowing. That's exactly what we want. Now call that mission accomplished. That's a nice healthy turbulence. Let's try again, shall we? Well, here we are, folks. We've made it to the freeway without overheating or boiling over. We sat through traffic on the way here, so I'm pretty happy with that. The engine temperature is sitting on the high side, but that is to be expected on account of the fact that it's not running a thermostat. So these old Clevelands, they definitely require the restrictor plate that sits in the block, and they do also require the correct thermostat to be fitted. So a lot of these Clevelands has some issues when they don't run a thermostat, and they also have issues when they run the incorrect modern thermostat. So we will address that later, but in the meantime it's still running fine. It's not detrimental to run for a little while on the high side. They are made of pig iron after all, so happy days. Won't take long till we get there, I reckon. Here we are, we've officially made it. There's the old Stewmaster. Done and done. Here we are, Stu, we finally made it, eh?
Back in the car park of the Angler's Rest.
That's it, just like old times, but this time, she's a driver.
No pushing.
So Rick's not available today, apparently?
No, he's back in Des Moines, unfortunately.
Okay.
Which is a shame.
So I'm going to give you the plates, but how about you and I go for a drive? You've not driven it yet?
No, not since we fixed it. Let's do it. Fire up the beast.
Oh. Nice and easy, huh?
It's gold. Is that the release for the handbrake?
Yep, pull that out.
Nice.
Away we go. It feels nice and cruisy.
It is very cruisy. It feels.
So how good does it feel, mate? You're finally driving this car.
It does actually
after
feel
all this time.
Immensely satisfying to. The thing about this car is you don't want to drive fast. You just want to.
You just want to cruise. Honestly, cruising the highway, it was just doing the 100 k's an hour, no problem at all. Just loping along. Honestly, like you really didn't feel like you were doing the 100.
You want to go slow just to make sure that everyone sees you.
Well,
you can wave like the Queen and.
Well, look, we are in a boat, but we're not going to go into this water, okay? The LTD does not float, Stu. Now settle down.
So just yesterday they pulled a car out from the boat ramp.
Did they really?
Yeah, I got the fire brigade call saying boat in the water. So the fire brigade came out and boomed it off for oil.
Wow.
And then they got craned out.
Okay.
Keys in the ignition still, just sitting there.
Excellent.
Probably like stolen and dumped.
I'd like to put it on our...
The guy's waving. See, Taylor, we just picked up an old fisherman.
Well, you know, I do enjoy your Will It Start video, Stu, so if you ever do find or salvage an old banger in the waters, drag it out, and we're going to put it on our channel, all right?
Well, that probably would have, because it was only in there a couple of days.
There you go. Oh, look, give me... Parking outside the pub. Gotta love it.
That's the Rockstar Park.
Yep.
Sleazy deserves the Rockstar Park.
It does.
Gold.
All right. Here we are.
Cheers, mate.
Happy days.
To a success.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. That was a bit of a success story there. So, we were just thinking, it's been about 7 months since we started this journey.
Yep.
You know, we sat back in this very spot, having some beer. We had Paulie.
Who was without child at that stage?
He was without child, and he's now taken and
now daddy.
Very busy, yes. Yeah. But we pushed it on. We hatched our plans, and we got the locals to help push the car on.
Yes.
And you know, we had a few ups and downs, didn't we? I think.
Yeah. I think that's classic for a project though. When I compare it to Renko or something, I go, there's been some beautiful days sitting in the sun, burning some rods, doing some welding, everything's going smoothly, and days when you just think,
total disaster.
This is going to beat me,
Look,
or whatever, you know.
For me, one of my highlights, personal highlights, is seeing the look on your face when we opened the bonnet and we showed you just what kind of a rubbish motor we were putting in Sleazy.
And then to hear that was your engine as a kid, basically.
Well, that was an engine that I've had for 20 years.
Yep.
And I thoroughly enjoyed when we did try to get it running. We set it on fire, just casually, as you casually do.
But who doesn't put a bucket of petrol under an open exhaust manifold?
I don't know. I mean, look, we're watching Shall Be Right Garage, not Perfect Garage. So,
yes, that's it.
It's definitely, I'd put that as one of our highlights.
Yep.
Certainly amongst our lower points was finding the amount of rust that we did.
Yes.
You know, we were very downtrodden when we found
when we were thinking we were just going to
it was going to be
a bit of work
yeah.
and get a blue slip.
Yeah.
Which and that led to Brad and I going to buy the panels. But at the same time you go, okay, it's time and it's a bit of money, second-hand car panels. Although we're probably lucky that these cars, although they're not common, they're not
so rare that you can't get it.
And the guy we bought the panels off was the most lovely country guy we met, and we just chatted for a while.
Yeah.
And then went to the pub.
Well, and that, interestingly enough, that's part of the adventure.
Absolutely,
yeah, it is. You know, like you do meet people when you're making a build.
Yep.
So you know, in the end, we were hoping we were going to get a smaller amount of rust. It turned out to be larger. It's a very familiar story with a lot of people storing cars. We're no exception. But, you know, look, we still at least managed to show 3 different ways, essentially, of repairing rust. We did a proper repair in steel on the wheel arch. We did a bodgy repair on the roof. And we did a replacement panel as well and painted them. So painting it outside was pretty fun as well.
Yeah. But I think also, so colour matching was interesting as well, taking in a panel. And that's a good tip.
We tried,
But a great tip to me is take the fuel flap. It's a piece of the car that you can easily take off.
Indeed, but that said, it didn't match, so close enough is good enough for Sleazy.
It's still a good idea.
You know, it's still a good idea. So look, we still have our plans of turning it into a race car, so we don't want to go too far, you know, in the extreme of making this car beautiful. Currently it's a pub crawler as a road registered car, but that's not its future.
Yes.
And I think, you know, our other real disappointment, I have to say, is that I would have liked to have done our test and tune day.
Yes, the floods scuppered us there.
Look, you know, the weather gods just weren't playing.
So the floods we had that you saw on Dango Marine, that with essentially put the track we had booked and paid for underwater.
It washed out the track.
You should share some of the photos.
Yeah, look, you know, I can show a few photos, and you can see, you know, as you look at some of these photos, large sections of road that have been washed out. So I think it was just as well that we didn't attempt trying to take Sleazy out there. So we're going to have to look at doing that another time. So
and the dyno day, we need it.
Yeah, we never got a dyno day either, unfortunately. But look, the car runs all right.
If you run a dyno that allows filming and likes old cars, get in touch, because that's the trouble. It's either modern cars or no cameras.
No cameras, which I don't understand. So we may not be the most full-blown professional channel, but we'd certainly like to get
we'd certainly like to get some stuff out there. But look, moving forward, Stu, for those who are watching your channel, they'll be quite familiar. Quite a few of those are watching mine, but you're heading out for 6 months.
Yes, Monday. So in 3 or 4 days' time. So bit of a hiatus on SLEEZY, but definitely gives us a chance to A, save up, and B, hatch a plan.
Definitely.
C,
So,
look for parts on Gumtree.
look, as we find and need them, but look, at the end of the day, I think we can still look back at what we've achieved. We've certainly achieved phase 1 of our objective. We have a road-going registered car.
Driving registered
As of
car.
today, it's got the stamp of reliability. It didn't overheat. We got it here.
And
you know,
when we pulled at the pub, people did actually start talking about it straight away.
Indeed.
Even people we didn't know. Who
That's
was like,
right.
what is that? And that's the funny thing about an old car. Like, you can pull up in your $90,000 HSV Commodore, people just go, that's a car. You pull up in your $2,000 LTD painted purple, and people are like, what's that?
What's
and
that?
I've got to say, it's a fun part of old cool cars is that money can't buy them. You have to almost make it. You have to fix it.
And you know, you don't have to have everything concourse correct. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect. It's just got to be old and cool. And all, you know, you got to enjoy it. You have to get some smiles out of driving it.
That's
and,
it.
You know,
And people get smiles out of you driving it.
correct.
They're
So
like,
you know, when you take a car like this out, you do get the looks, you do get the stares, and you know that's what it's all about. You're sharing it with other people, and you know. Why else would you drive it if not to share?
Yeah, and then also they're not the looks and stares like there's you going in your Lamborghini. They're the people who want to talk to you because they're like, you seem like my kind of guy.
That's right.
Not.
And interestingly enough, I've formed a lot of friendships over the years, literally from owning an old car, because somebody will approach you and go, "I've got one similar. Let's go for a drive." And you know, it's all part of it. You know, it's people as well. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. But look, I think Stu, that pretty much wraps up phase 1 of SLEEZY. We're gonna have it on hiatus for a little while. I'm just going to keep driving it as a regular cruiser, and I think in about 6 months' time, when you come back, we'll address it and we'll have another video and start doing phase 2. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, that pretty much wraps us up for now, Stu.
Thank you for your help, mate.
Thank you very much for
appreciate
the
it.
adventure.
Thank you.
Let's drink to that.
You can't have enough car fun with mates.
Indeed. We're going to enjoy this and head home. Well, it's about time we head back home, but when we do get back, there is one more conversation that needs to be had. Righto guys, so that concludes SLEEZY Part 7, but before we finish this video, we've got to say goodbye to someone else. Unfortunately, Andrew's not feeling too well. He's going to have to leave us for now. He's going to have to go back home and take care of his health, so we really are sad to see you go, mate.
I'm not happy to see it to go either, but I'm getting to a stage where it's in the hospital, unfortunately, for probably a month.
And mate, your health's number one.
Yeah.
You know, you're like a brother to me, and the navigator's seat will always be ready for you.
Appreciate it, mate. Appreciate it. We'll get it sorted. Like I said, we're probably looking at a month, from 4 to 6 weeks in hospital just to get a few things sorted, and then hopefully we'll move back up and take off from where we were.
Keep going, yeah. And I'm expecting some shit stirring from Andrew, and I'll make sure I show you guys, the kind of shit that he gives me.
That's right. We might even try and set Mike up an iRacing account so that he can spot for me and
God help us.
some races in the simulator, and he can navigate for me for a change. But we'll see how we go.
Well, mate, I'll navigate for you, only if I can send you into a crash.
I'll do that on my own anyway, mate.
That's it.
So it won't make any difference. But no, we'll be good. Good luck with the channel while I'm not here.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate
hope
it.
as well.
You're here from the beginning, so I'm looking forward to having you back, brother.
Yeah, and when's the next? Oh, when's Orange?
We'll be rallying in a couple of weeks' time, so I'm not sure who we're going to have in the navigator's seat then, but hopefully Andrew will be back as soon as possible.
Anyone that wants to have a crack, put your hand up, put a comment down the bottom.
I don't think anyone's stupid enough, but
not after the last video.
That's it. That's it.
But you could see we both walked away from it fine, so the car's very safe. So
that's it. She'll be right, eh?
She'll be right.
She'll be fucking right. All right, folks. We'll catch you on the next video. You'll see PK and Crazy Parko a bit more frequently, and we'll leave it at that.
We will, and I'll send up some shit stirring videos on and leave you some lovely comments.
Looking forward to it. All right, guys.
Something to do.
See you later.
Boys. Take it easy.
G'day, folks. Fuck off, will ya? And our plans and reminisce of what we've been up to. You fucking phone. Bastard. You fucker. Oh. Fucker. Rolling Miss Daisy. Fucking will you move, cunt. Fuck's sake. It works.
Does it?
Yeah. No, push it in.
It does work. It's cheap. And, it's a V8, American V8 with a carburetor. Is that the theme music? And it's so see you later, guys.
See you later, boys. Thanks for all the comments, all the kind words.